Okay, Joe, let me know if you're ready. We're good to go.
Yeah, I am ready. Can I share my screen?
Sure. And if again, once again, if you could open your camera, please feel free to do so. I want to see your faces in this Sunday evening.
Hello, everyone. I think everyone's recovering from the weekend. So can I ask everybody something to put in the chat? I want to know how many people here know me and how many people don't know me. Hello, Earl. Yeah, everyone's quiet. You don't have to be shy. It's okay if you don't know me. Okay. I just want to know, so I need to know if I need to actually tell you who I am and why this is important. And I think you hey, Marielle, good to see you.
Good evening, Joe. Good evening, Coach and
I like your background, Marielle. Nice.
from the holiday.
Whenever you're ready, Marianne, just give me the signal.
Yeah, we could start. I think people's on FB pages are watching around 300 plus and counting. And although,
Really?
yeah.
Wow. Now you made me nervous. Now
Pressure.
now I have to deliver. Oh, Miles has a pretty nice background. That looks like AI theme.
Okay, maybe we could start. It's 7:16 in the evening. Let's go.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. If you don't know me, and I have a feeling that a lot of you don't, my name is Joe Dichiara. I am a CPA from New York, USA, and I was certified in 1987. And it took me 5 years to get my CPA certificate. So that's probably before a lot of you were even born. Okay, so I've been doing this for a long time, long time. And I've worked with thousands, literally thousands of small business owners. I've had 4 different kinds of CPA practices, starting with my first practice was all about solving tax problems. I worked with people that owed the IRS money or were being audited. And my second practice was QuickBooks focused. And what I did was, and it actually turned out to be a big mistake because I wasn't actually helping people. I taught them how to use QuickBooks and how to be their own bookkeepers. And it wasn't a good idea because business owners should not be doing their own bookkeeping. The good part about that was I was able to get a lot of clients by training. Okay, I want you to keep that in mind. All I had to do was find people that wanted to learn QuickBooks. Once they found out that I was a CPA, a lot of them hired me to do their work. When I realized that teaching people QuickBooks wasn't really it wasn't a benefit to them, I changed it up again, and I just ran a traditional accounting practice where I focused on helping small business owners deal with the IRS, keeping their books up to date. And I did that for over 15 years, because that's how long my mother worked for me. And my mother was the first individual that I trained in remote accounting. So I've been doing remote accounting since 2004. Okay, over 20 years. This is new for a lot of people, but it's not new for me. Okay. About 5 years ago, I realized that I wasn't really happy. I had a good practice, but I really didn't like a lot of my clients. I had a lot of clients in the construction industry, uh, and other hard-nosed entrepreneurs that were just they were rich white men trying to get richer by having asking me to help them cheat the government, and they were asking me to do things that I wouldn't do for myself. And I didn't do anything that they asked me to. It was just a constant battle. So I said, you know what? I got to change this up. I said, I need to work with my people. And when I say my people, the people that in the United States want to start and build a new business to support their families, to support themselves, and they are struggling. There's tens of millions of them. That's what I found out. They're the smallest of the small businesses. And that's when I launched Bedrock. And that's when I was introduced to the Philippine community. And it changed my life. It changed my business. And I moved here. That's how much I love it here. And I love the people, and I love, I connected with a lot of people like Marianne that have the same core values as me, which is really to be of service to people. My main goal in life and in business is to empower people. empower small business owners, and now empower the Philippine freelance accounting community any way that I can. And we started doing training through Marianne. That's Marianne actually worked for me for a month, and then she had the audacity to resign. And I knew that she had her accounting people's group, and I said, well, because I understood she was honest. It was tax season, and she said, I don't want to hold you back, but I have another agenda. I want to help these, accounting peoples. And I said, well, I had this course that I was teaching. It was actually the course came from me training my mom because it worked. It worked. And I said, listen, I could take that course and tweak it and make it, update it and make it more focused on US taxes than on bookkeeping. And long story short, we've had close to 1,000 people register for one of our courses because now we have, uh, I lost track of how many courses we have. We added a sales tax course, a payroll course, an income tax preparation course, and now we have a bunch of, we're going to just keep producing courses. And I'll tell you why. It's easy for us now. It's easy because of AI. It took me about 3 months to create that first course. It's a 13-week course. I had to manually type everything. Then we had to make slideshows. It's time consuming. I can do a course like that now in a couple of hours using AI. This slideshow that I'm gonna take you through tonight, I made it yesterday in about an hour. Not having to do any research, not having to actually make a slide because I have an AI that just takes the content and makes all these beautiful slides, including the graphics. Now, one more thing I want to mention. The reason why I told you I've been doing this over 40 years is because I actually started before there were computers. That's how old I am. I'm not embarrassed to say it, okay? Before computers, then all of a sudden we had computers. Think about how that impacted the accounting community. All of a sudden we had this powerful machine where we could start automating and having a computer do simple things like adding up our spreadsheets, because before computers there was no Excel. We actually used a manual adding machine. Okay, think about that. Imagine having a client with 1,000 transactions and you got to manually enter everyone and then categorize it. So computers were a game changer, but they were expensive. And not only were they expensive, then you had to learn software. Nobody even knew what software was. So that was a real paradigm shift. Luckily, I was working with firms that invested in the computers, invested in the software, and I learned how to use the software. And it changed everything because not only did we get things like the spreadsheets, but then they came out with tax programs. And now we could do tax programs on a computer. We used to do thousands of tax returns by hand with a pencil. Okay, think about that. Thousands. And you want to know something? We got them done. We got them done. The computers were supposed to make things easier. It didn't. It made it more complicated for the people that didn't actually know how to use the software and the computers. But for people like me, because I'm tech savvy, it made everything easier. So for somebody like me in the accounting business, I was light years ahead of other accountants. Okay. The next thing that happened was QuickBooks. Everybody, I'm assuming everybody's heard of QuickBooks, right? Well, I knew QuickBooks before it was even QuickBooks. It was a program called Parsons Technology, and Intuit bought Parsons Technology, and they created QuickBooks. And right away, accountants started freaking out, thinking, "Oh, QuickBooks is going to replace us." So what did they do? They literally tried to deny that it existed. They didn't help their clients. But the problem was their clients were all buying and trying to use QuickBooks. There's a big disconnect there. That's when I started my QuickBooks business, because I saw an opportunity. I said, "Oh, nobody's teaching these people how to actually use the software." And when I started doing that, my phone was ringing off the hook, because again, I was light years ahead of all the other accountants. See, accountants are slow to change, and I've always used that to my advantage successfully. Uh, I'm not slow to change. I'm an early adopter. I've always been. I'm willing to try something. Not everything works, but that comes with the territory. When you want to try something new, not everything's going to work. But I saw how powerful QuickBooks was, and I saw it as a tool, not as a replacement. That's important. Okay. It's a tool. And guess what? QuickBooks did not replace any accountants. It didn't replace one account, because you know what QuickBooks can't do? It can't actually talk to the client. It can't explain to them what's going on with their business. The next paradigm shift was the internet and this program called RDP, which allowed remote desktop access. And again, as soon as I saw that, the light bulb went off in my head, and I said, I could use this technology and do accounting from anywhere. It changed the game, because now you weren't limited geographically. You could get clients anywhere. And not only clients, but now you could find talent anywhere. That changed the whole game. And again, accountants were 5, 10 years behind. So I'm over here running this remote accounting business. And like I said, my mother was the first one that I taught. She had no experience. What she knew about the computer was how to shop and play games. And when I told her I wanted her to work for me, she said, "What are you, crazy? I live 2,000 miles away." Long story short, it changed her life, because now she could work from home, take care of her parents who couldn't drive anymore. And it was powerful, because I said, "Oh my God, I thought I was just going to be able to handle more clients, but look at what it did for my mother." It empowered her. And I want to do more of that. So I created a course, and I taught a bunch of US people how to do bookkeeping, thinking that they were going to work for me. But guess what happened? I taught them how to do bookkeeping, and they all got too many clients and were too busy to work for me. So that experiment didn't work. It was good that I helped them, but the idea was I was training them to help me. So for a long time, it was just me and my mother. And I did try to hire remote workers from other countries. It just never worked. It didn't work because of the communication. I could never find somebody that can do the work and communicate with my clients, because people from other countries might speak English, but the words don't always mean the same. And that creates a problem. So when I tell somebody it's a priority, it means like put it on the top of the what you're doing, and to what they're hearing is, oh, I have to put it on my list of things to do. When I came to the Philippines, it was totally different. And I know from experience that a lot of Philippine people are conscious, self-conscious about their English. Well, let me tell you something. What I just came across an article about the facts about the Philippines. You're the 5th largest English speaking country in the world. And one of the reasons why Americans love working with the Philippines is your knowledge of the English language, not just speaking, but writing. And I could tell you that all of the accountants on my team, they all speak to our clients. They talk to the clients more than me, and the clients are happy with them. So if you think you have an issue with English, get over it. Get over it, because the truth is, if you want to be in the freelance world and work with US businesses, you're going to have to talk to them. So if you're not confident about that, we could help you. We have this Jumpstart community where every Saturday morning we have a workshop, and I have my coach, Larry Broughton, who is a world-class entrepreneur. He speaks all over the world. And his job, every once a month, he's going to do a training on communication. Because believe it or not, communication is the most important skill you could learn. Okay. Now we come to the 4th paradigm shift, which is AI. This is a game changer. And what I've been telling people, my students and anybody else who would listen, is if you don't embrace AI, it's going to eat you. You're going to get eaten alive, just like those accountants that didn't embrace QuickBooks. They were years behind people like me. I wasn't the only one that saw the opportunity. There were plenty of other accountants out there. But the ones that didn't, they were at a disadvantage. They had to catch up. And when I saw what's happening with AI, I said, I'm going to do exactly what I did with QuickBooks. I'm going to embrace it, and I'm going to start teaching my clients how to use it. And that brings us to tonight. A lot of the training that Marianne and I are going to do in Jumpstart is going to be AI focused. What I've told my team is their job is to figure out how AI could help them do their jobs better. So we have Lawrence, who does video. So a lot of video people are going to say, oh my God, the video AIs are going to replace us. No, they're not. If Lawrence learns how to utilize the AI tools that are out there for video editing, the only thing that's going to happen is he's going to be able to do 10 times the amount of work. Erin, who was doing all of our slides, well, now using AI, the slideshows that used to take her 2 or 3 hours take her less than 10 minutes now. That's the power of AI. On November 30th, 2022, ChatGPT was launched. That's the day that everything changed. Okay, that's the day that people are going to say that was the turning point. Okay. Now it takes a little time for people to start adopting it, learning it, and that's where we are today. On November 30th, 2022, there was one AI. It was ChatGPT. Now there's hundreds of them. There's hundreds of little apps that do different things. There's a couple of main AIs, and they're what they call open source AIs. So other companies can go in and like piggyback off of ChatGPT and actually use their technology to do something specialized. Okay, so tonight, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take you through the pros and cons of the 5 top AI apps that are out there. And they're all different. They're all different. Okay. Some of them we'll go through it and I'll show you. So here, the top 5 right now that, and I use all of them. Okay. ChatGPT, obviously. Gemini, I really like. That's Google's AI. Claude, which is something I only learned about a couple of weeks ago through this AI certification course that I'm taking. There's Perplexity, and now there's Copilot. Copilot is Microsoft's. Okay. And I know Facebook has one and Amazon has one because that's what all these big, gigantic companies, they knew. They said, if we don't have our own AI, we're going to be left behind. Okay, so I haven't used Amazon's, I haven't used Facebook. These are the 5 that I've been using on a daily basis. So let's go through the first one, ChatGPT. Okay. It's user friendly. Okay. You can open it up and just start putting stuff in there. And that's another thing that I learned. You get out of these what you put in. And I'm going to give you some secrets on how to actually get the best results. Okay. So ChatGPT, I don't even use it that much anymore because I find the other ones a lot more powerful. Okay. But I do go back to ChatGPT from time to time. So ChatGPT also has some other like they have this graphic design program. It's called Dolly. So if I need a graphic, sometimes I'll go into ChatGPT. But the thing is, the graphics in ChatGPT come out sort of like cartoonish. Okay. So if you want a real sharp graphic, you're going to use a different program. And some of these like Claude and Gemini, they'll create a graphic for you, but what I found is they're not really good at it. In fact, they're terrible at it. Dolly is good at it. I just don't like the kind of images that they give us. Now here's the weaknesses. Knowledge cutoff. Okay, it's not current. So if you want to ask it something about 2024 tax laws, it's not going to know it. It's just not going to know it. It's inaccurate a lot. Okay. Another thing with the AI, don't assume that it's all correct. Whatever you get out of AI, and they all tell you on the bottom, sometimes we make mistakes. Okay, so you got to check it. Potential bias. Okay, I don't even know what that means. Overconfidence can be overly confident in responses, even when incorrect. So in other words, if you're using ChatGPT, be conscious of the fact that it could be wrong. And that's why I started when I started with GPT and I would get an output, then I started putting it into Perplexity and I was getting different results. And a lot of my friends that are using the AIs, they all went over to Perplexity. Gemini, I really like. Okay. I started using Gemini. Now, this is Google's AI. Okay. Uh, so like with ChatGPT, you can't give it like a 30-page document. It's too much. It just can't process it. But Gemini can. Okay. What I like about Gemini is it's really friendly. It'll tell you, like, if I put in there, I want to create a course for Filipino freelance accountants that's going to help them learn AI. And it'll come out and say, that's a wonderful idea. The Philippine community is going to really be grateful. And it was kind of funny. I'm like, oh my God, this is actually a friendly AI. You don't get that with GPT. Okay. Uh, it can generate text, it can generate images and spreadsheets. So it's a lot more powerful. Okay. And it integrates obviously with all the other Google tools. So to be honest with you, I don't even understand what this stuff means. All I know is that it's got a huge amount of data. Think about this. So, these AIs, they're programs and they have to get the data from somewhere. Well, Google's got an advantage because they got billions of people that use Google search. So they got a lot of information from all different sources. So Google's got a big advantage. Oh, that's right. Elon Musk has an AI. I don't know if he's launched it yet, but he's got a huge advantage. And I'll tell you why. It might sound crazy, but because of Tesla, every single Tesla car has a computer and they're monitoring exactly what those drivers are doing. So their database about what drivers are doing is they have info that Google doesn't have. And they're taking that info and utilizing it in their AI. So when they start with the self-driving cars, what do you think is going to be driving the car? It's going to be AI. So if I have a choice of getting into a self-driving car, if I'm going to go in, I'm going to go into a Tesla. Okay, because the Tesla's got all the advantages. Now, Gemini's challenges, okay? When I tried to use Gemini, you see, I'm a business owner. I had to pay for it, okay? I don't use my Gmail account. I use my business account. So I had to actually pay for it. So it's not open, like the powerful features, I don't think are open to somebody that doesn't have the paid version. And that goes with all of them. Okay. You can use all of them for free, but you're going to be limited. You're going to be limited in how much you can use it. It'll cut you off, and you're not going to get the same kind of results. Now, something like ChatGPT is $20 a month. Gemini, I forgot how much they're all about $20 or $30 a month. which is a lot of money for some people, for a lot of people. For me, I don't have a choice. I need it. It's part of my business. Okay. Uh, and again, potential bias. So, what that means is the people that own Google, what's his name? Sergey Brin, I think, is one of the founders. He's going to tell it what not to do. So in other words, that's where the bias comes in. Transparency issues. There's not a lot of information about how they actually make it work. Now we go to Claude. So I was introduced to Claude, like I said, through this AI certification course that I'm taking. And what they do, it's pretty interesting. They'll use ChatGPT to create like an outline of a book. They'll tell ChatGPT, listen, I want to write a book about, freelance accounting in the Philippines, give me an outline, because ChatGPT is good at that. Then they'll take the outline and they'll take each chapter and they'll tell, because ChatGPT just can't do a lot at once. And they'll take one chapter and they'll say, okay, write this one chapter. They'll copy and paste it all into a document. Then they'll save the document and they'll put the whole thing into Claude. And they'll tell Claude, make this better. Okay. And Claude will take the whole thing. And it's amazing because this stuff happens in seconds. I wrote a book. I was just playing along and I said, I want to do a book on pricing models for Philippine accountants, because one of the things as an accountant, pricing is a big issue. You don't want to price your services too low, because then you're cheating yourself. And if you price them too high, you're not going to get any clients. So I did the exercise. I went into ChatGPT. I did what I just said. Claude came out with a 180-page document. And I did it all in less than an hour. Less than an hour. And I didn't like it, so I got rid of it. And I said, I just wanted to see if I could do it. So we're actually, Marianne doesn't know this yet, we're going to do on the Jumpstart training for Jumpstart Premium members, we're going to take people through writing their own book. We're going to show everybody how to write their own book. Okay. So Claude, they are focused on ethical ethics. Ethics is a big issue now with AI. Okay, because people could, and I saw this already when they started with the celebrity voices, and some of these companies started getting sued by celebrities because they were making the voices sound like, Mel Gibson or whoever. It's easy for them to do that. And well, because if you're a celebrity, that's your brand. That's your brand. You don't want somebody else using it. So that's a whole nother issue that's going to be decided in the courts. Okay. That's why Claude, okay, strong dialect. That's why, like, if you want to write something, an article, you want a book, you want to use Claude. And actually, like I said, I take something in Claude and then I'll run it through Perplexity and I'll see which one looks better. because they're never the same. They're never the same. It's like these AIs will all have personalities. So it's still limited availability. So I don't even know. It might not be available in the Philippines, but if you have a VPN, you can go over that. May lag in complex reasoning or code generation. I haven't had that experience. That might be for people that are putting in like 1,000-page document. Again, there's limited public information about how they're training the AI. Perplexity, web information focused. Okay, so if it's on the web, that's where Perplexity is getting all its info. It's going to tell you exactly where it got the info from. And it's user-friendly design. Limitations on Perplexity. It's not as strong in its language generation. In other words, it's not as good at writing a book as Claude is. Okay. If you give it something complicated, it might get confused. Okay. Search dependency the accuracy relies on the quality of the available information. Now this one, okay, perplexed information. Oh, we did that. This one I just found out about because it was appearing on my computer all the time. I said, what is this icon, Copilot? Turns out it's Microsoft's AI. And I haven't used it that much, but it's gonna integrate with all of Microsoft's products, just like Google integrates well with the Google suite. Now this is really cool. So if you know anything about coding, like website coding and stuff like that, I asked Copilot to create the content for a landing page. I just wanted the content. I wanted the text. And over to the right, if you see this picture here, it was actually giving me the code. And then you could take the code. I don't know if any of you ever built a website, but you could actually take that code and just copy and paste it, and you have a web page. So this is great for people that like want to have a website but have no idea how to do it. Okay, this is just one way to do it. Okay. Task automation automates emails, meeting summaries, presentations, and more. Okay. You know, I noticed when people were signing in, there's a bunch of AIs in the meeting now. Otter is an AI. So you'll get a whole summary about this meeting. You got to be careful with that because one time, we had a meeting with Marianne, me and Larry and I think Luz, my sidekick there, and Marianne didn't show up. And I started saying some things about her. It's like, oh yeah, she's unreliable. No, I didn't say that. But I said things maybe I shouldn't have, and it got back. She told me, she's like, Joe, I got the summary of the meeting. So you got to be careful with this stuff. You don't know whoever's registered for the meeting, that don't talk about them. Is Mary Ann here? Okay. Let's move on here. It can process your data. So you could actually take a PDF file and upload it and it'll read it. Okay. It understands workflows. It'll give you personalized suggestions. You know, this course that I'm taking, they go through this one exercise where they have the AI actually interview you. And the purpose is you're telling the AI who you are, what you do, who you work with, how you help them. So it's getting all this information. And then once you give it all the information, then you're going to say, okay, now that you know all about me and my business, now I want you to write a, you know, a manual or a book for my people. You know, I deal with my bedrock is we're working with small businesses, sole proprietors that are just starting out. They they usually don't have an accountant, and they're just starting out. So if I went through the interview process, they would know exactly what I'm doing, why I'm doing it, and they would write an article or a blog post or whatever I tell it to do based on what I've just told it. And what that is you're actually training the AI. Okay. Challenges with Copilot. You have to have a Microsoft subscription. I think that costs about $200. Okay. So it's expensive. Uh, it's analyzing your data and you don't know what it's doing with it. Okay. Accuracy issues. I think they all have accuracy issues. I have this one AI program that actually produces courses. It's amazing, and I'll show it to you. You just put in, hey, I want to do a course on sales tax, New York State sales tax, and it'll produce the whole course for you. But sometimes it gets off track. I did a course on zero. Okay, zero for beginners. We're going to be launching that course in a week or two. Zero for beginners. And it was great for the first 4 chapters because it's giving you all this information about zero. This is where you go for, to add a customer. And then when I got to chapter 5 and 6 and 7, it wasn't talking about zero. It was just talking about accounting programs in general. And then it mixed the bank reconciliation with entering transactions. So it did a lot, but it didn't do it perfect. So what did I do? I took those topics and I went into Gemini and I said, give me a chapter on entering transactions in zero. And it came out with the chapter. And then I said, now do one on doing a bank rec. So that's how, I had to use 2 different AI programs to put together the whole course. More issues with Copilot. And this is what I keep saying. Don't take what these AI programs do for granted. I mean, don't just assume, oh, it came from Chat GPT, it must be right. There used to be a commercial that made me laugh because somebody said, I heard it on the internet, it has to be true. If it's on the internet, it has to be true. No, that's not how it works. Okay. Uh, Apparently there's limited customization options, ecosystem locked in. To be honest with you, these things are so new that a lot of these limitations, I don't even see them. I don't even see them. Okay, comparing the platforms. So you have your general purpose platforms, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. Can do a lot of different things. In other words, so Copilot and Perplexity, okay, so what they specialize in is getting information, okay? Targeting information for specific needs. Gemini, the other programs, ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude are more general, if that makes sense. Somebody's in the waiting room. Integration. So obviously Copilot is going to integrate with Microsoft, Gemini is going to integrate with Google, and the other platforms are more flexible. So in other words, Copilot wants you to stay in the Microsoft world. Gemini wants you to stay in the Google world. So that's where they might be biased. Now, if you want to generate code, like I said, if you want to do it for building a website, let's say, you want to use Copilot and Gemini. Okay, they're good at it. ChatGPT, I wouldn't use it, and Claude and Perplexity, I would. But the truth is, I'm not doing any websites. I'm not doing code, so this is a moot point for me. Accessibility. ChatGPT and Perplexity are the easiest. Okay. They're the easiest to access. They have free versions. So Gemini, I know if you just use your Gmail account, you can use it because one of our team members did something. She created a contract or something using Gemini. Okay. Copilot, like I said, that requires a subscription. So Copilot might not be for everybody. If you're just starting out, you should try ChatGPT and Perplexity because you're not going to have to pay anything for them. So when choosing the right platform, again, this is going to take a lot more time and trials and errors because these programs are still in their infancy. They're still changing. I can do things with AI today that I couldn't do 6 months ago. There was no program to create a course. That's new. And like I said, as I've been using these, I'm actually finding, oh, this one is better at this one isn't good at this. Like I said, with the Dolly thing, that's what I was using in the beginning to try to do graphics. And it was actually coming out with people with 7 fingers. They said that they fixed that, but I don't know. But I have other programs now to do the graphics. And that's what I just said. It's still evolving. they're saying, things you can do today, 2 months from now, you're gonna say, oh my God, I remember when I could only do this. It's evolving at a growing rate, if that makes sense. So ChatGPT is conversational. So if you want to do the interview thing, you would use ChatGPT. And what you would do is, well, I'm gonna show you how you would do it. Okay. It's great with drafting, editing, and improving written content. Well, the thing is, it's not good at doing big documents. So if you want to write a book, you would have to do it like in little chunks. Oh, and this is cool. You can do it in Tagalog. Okay. Let's see, next slide. Gemini has advanced data processing. It can, so if you have a really complex situation, you want to use Gemini instead of ChatGPT. And I'll give you an example. Coming up with a pricing model for accountants, ChatGPT could not handle that, but Gemini would be a lot better at it. Claude, so if you want to be conservative, you want to use Claude because it's not going to do anything that's going to ruffle people's feathers. I'll tell you a funny incident I had with it. I'm putting together a franchise model for Bedrock. And I said, you know what? Let me feed all the information I have into the AI and see if it comes up with like a game plan for me. So I put it in ChatGPT and Perplexity. ChatGPT said this looks like a scam. This looks like a scam. Be careful, don't do it. And then Perplexity came out with a whole different thing. But that's when I realized, I said, oh my God, these things are like so far apart, they're not even close. That's when I started using multiple AIs. Perplexity is better at real-time information. So, like I said, for some reason, ChatGPT isn't really current. Perplexity is more current. And I don't know why that is. ChatGPT actually started with Elon Musk again. That guy's got his hands in everything. He started a company called OpenAI. And the idea was he was going to do AI for free and open up the code to everybody. And then his partners decided they wanted to make it a business. So he just left OpenAI and, he left it to his partners. Okay. Because he's afraid that bad things are going to happen with AI if people don't monitor it. Okay. If somebody evil out there creates, a big AI program, and I don't know, I'm not that smart, but maybe somebody will put in an AI to figure out how to rob a bank. I don't know. Copilot. So again, this is one I haven't worked with that much, but I guess it's good at Word documents and PowerPoint presentations, obviously, because that's part of Microsoft. So if you have, big data in an Excel spreadsheet, you want to use Copilot. And it'll help you draft emails. They all actually do. They can all help you draft an email. So if you have an issue with writing, what you can do, and I do this all the time, you can write the email and then plug it into ChatGPT and say something like, make this email funny, and it'll do it. Or make this email serious, and it'll change the tone for you. Future of AI platforms is going to be more personalized. So as I use it, it's going to get to know me better. It's going to know that I'm a CPA. It's going to take all that information when it's creating the output for me. They're going to all get better at creating images, audio, video. Right now, so we have a program where you can just put the text in and it'll create a video for you. Then we have another program where you could put the text in and it'll create a voice for you. We even have a program that can take my pictures. Okay, think about this. It's going to take me and my voice, and then all we got to do is put the text in there, and it looks like I'm talking. That's how that's how we're going to be doing our evergreen courses now. That's how we're going to be able to do it a lot faster, because I don't even have to do a slideshow until we can just copy and paste the text in there. Or we could take somebody else that has a different voice and do it. Okay. 6 months from now, I can't even imagine what they're gonna have. And what I'm thinking is a lot of these platforms like Claude and Gemini, they'll be able to do that stuff. Right now, they're not programmed to make videos or graphics. ChatGPT has that Dolly thing where it was programmed to create images. Now, here's some of the challenges. Obviously, regulation. The government's going to get involved. Okay. Mostly, the US government. They're monitoring this. Transparency. People are going to want to know, how are you coming up with these decisions? Data privacy. How do we know that the AIs aren't taking all of the data that we're putting in there and using it for something? Okay, and obviously the ethical considerations. Now, this is something that Elon Musk is working on, and he's doing some really crazy stuff where he's looking at actually curing things like paralysis and blindness using AI and robotics. If you ever watch the movie Terminator, that's what we're talking about. Okay, creating robots that I don't even want to go there. But what this is doing is actually it's redefining people's roles. I have a friend, his daughter was a graphic designer for a company in California. She lost her job She lost her job because her boss thought that he can do the graphics himself using AI. That's really not true. It's really not true, because I can do graphics using AI, but I'm not an artist. I don't think like an artist. I have a hard time explaining to the AI exactly what I want. A graphic designer is more qualified to create the images using AI. And that's where I said, AI isn't going to replace people. It shouldn't. It shouldn't. But there's businesses out there that are letting a lot of people go. But what's going to happen? Okay, I want you to picture something. In the US, before there were cars, people used horses. Okay. They had horse buggies, horses all over the place. So now if you did horseshoes for a living, right? That was your business. You did horseshoes. Now all of a sudden cars come on the scene and people aren't using horses as much. So what is the blacksmith going to do? Is he out of business? Well, if he was smart, he would learn how to fix cars. Okay. The guys that made the wooden wheels for the stage coaches, well, they have some mechanical ability. All they had to do was change their training. So people that are losing their job, if they go back and embrace these technologies, the AI industry is actually going to create jobs, just like the car industry created millions of jobs for people. Yeah, it put a lot of people out of work at first, but then people adapted. That's what's going to happen with AI. Just like what happened with QuickBooks. It didn't, it might have replaced bookkeepers and accountants for a short time until business owners realize that they can't do it themselves. And that's why, since the started, I've been telling my people to embrace AI. Embrace it, or you're going to get run over by it. Now, I want to introduce you to, we have our own AI platform. And what this does, I'm going to give you a little glimpse of it. So what companies are able to do now is they take these AI programs and they specialize, okay? They make their own platforms. So this AI, this is the company, it's called Deal AI, and they're at the forefront of AI. Okay. And they got a bunch of different apps that all do different things. For instance, they have a bunch of graphic programs. So this is one of my favorites. And what you do is you tell it what you want to do here. That's what I was saying, you know, I'm limited, but you see all of these graphics I actually created here. And let me show you how this create an image of a Philippine CPA working at a desk, drinking coffee. Okay. And then I could make it photorealistic. And it'll take a couple of, it's not going to take 3 minutes, it'll take a couple of minutes. But while that's going, let me show you my thing. So what I did was they white label this. They let anybody take all of their programs and put it under their own brand. And then what I'm able to do is take any one here. How is that? A Philippine CPA drinking coffee at his desk. Now, if I want more ideas, I can go create a dog fighting with a cat. Okay, so now what it's going to do, it's generating ideas, and it's going to give me 20, I mean, yeah, I think 20 different ideas. Oh, it's not, they're not fighting in that one. Oh, and you see that, and that's what, so the AI changed it. It's not gonna, it doesn't want to do anything negative. Okay. So this is gonna create a dog and a cat napping. So this program, so the reason why I signed up for this program is because I could create my own apps. And so these are all the apps that I've created. So I got a US tax guru. Now, what's the difference between using this and something like ChatGPT or Perplex? Because you can use those programs, okay? The difference is this is only focused on US taxes. It's focused. If you ask it how to change a flat tire, it's not going to do it. If you ask ChatGPT how to change a flat tire, it'll do it. So it's like, do you want, you know, something that looks at everything or something that's just focused? This one, the US, now this is just for US states, state and local. So if you want to know, like, let's say you have a client in Texas and you say, hey, my client is in Texas. I want to know all about, you know, the registration and licensing requirements for a construction company. All right. Then I created one for Philippine business taxes. I got one for Philippine personal taxes. Then, and this is something that's really cool, I created an interactive coach. Now, what this coach does, see that precision pricing coach? I told you I was I'm trying to create, not try, I am creating an app that's going to help Philippine freelancers come up with a pricing model. So look, this one is focused proposals for Philippine freelance accounting and tax services, working remotely. So I narrowed it down. And now, then I tell it this is where you're going to get the info from. It's going to sites like Upworks and Online Jobs PH. Okay. I'm not going to go into exactly how we do that, but you give it a knowledge base. So you're saying, get all the information from this. So I could say, how do I know how much to charge a US business for bookkeeping? And now the good thing about all of these AIs is you don't have to worry about grammar. You don't have to worry about spelling. I mean, it knows. Okay, so it's giving you information. So you see here, you got to go by, are they in New York City, or are they in a place where it doesn't cost as much to live? Okay, this is the average rate. Okay. CPAs can get 150 to $500 per hour. That's if you're in this, that's, I think, if you're in the US. Now I'm going to follow up. So that's another thing you want to know how to do with all the AIs. Once it gives you something, you could say, hey, can you expand on this? Or can you tell me how much a remote worker free from okay. So I want to see what it says here. Okay. It just says significantly less. But I'm still working on tweaking this. And I don't want to go through all of these things, but this is available for Jumpstart Premium members. It's available to everyone. Okay, but we're launching it right now for Jumpstart Premium members for only $12 a month. The going price for a platform like this is about $47 a month. Now, I want to share this with you. I'm going to put this in the chat. I'm going to do it as a Word document so you can actually copy and paste it. Now, I think when we started, I said, you got to know how to ask it something. So this is what you want to do. Be clear and specific. And I'm going to share something else with you that I think can help tremendously. So first, let me share this with you in here. So let's just go through some of these examples. This is a bad prompt. Help me with a presentation. Okay. This is a good prompt. I need help creating a 10-slide presentation for our sales meeting, blah, blah, blah. So you can do that and then actually, so like in Gemini and in Claude, if you have this info, you could even upload it and it'll take that. Use examples, write a professional email. Good prompt. I need to write a professional email that's similar to this one. So you're giving it an example. Encourage thinking. How can I improve team productivity? this is a good prompt. So you want to give it as much info as you can. And now this is a really good guide. Let me see. Where is it? Yeah, here it is, create. So now I'm going to share this with you. This is a guide that I got from this company is called 1000X, and they do AI training. And this is the formula that we use. So C is for context. What you want to do is you want to tell it, hey, this is what I want you to act like. And I'm going to give you an example here. I've been creating what we call personas. So you could say, okay, I want you to act like an Madison Avenue marketer, specializing in creating product descriptions, blah, blah, blah. And then you could fill in the blanks. This one, so if you're trying to create a product, let's say, okay, you're going to tell it, hey, you're a Madison Avenue expert marketer, and then you just fill in the blanks. You're an expert in marketing research. If you want to create an email campaign, okay, and I do that, you want to use a prompt like this. And you know what? I'm going to share this with you too. It's kind of raw. It's just like a work in progress. So if you want to do digital marketing, this is a digital marketing. And what you would do is, so this is a big one. You see, I took, and actually, I'll tell you what I did. I went into Gemini and I said, tell me what the uh, the best qualities of a digital marketer. What are their qualities, making them an expert as a digital marketer? And this is what he gave me. Strong persuasion. So now when I want to do any digital marketing, all I got to do is copy and paste this, and that's the first part of this. I'm saying this is who you're going to act like. Act like a copywriter, act like a lawyer, act like a life coach. And then you're going to tell it what you want. I want an article. And then you're going to tell it an article about what? Explain it. And then you're going to tell it, this is very important. Who is going to be looking at this? And then you could tell, like I said, you tell it the tone. You want to do it serious, you want to do it entertaining, you want to do it professional, you want to do it humorous, you just tell it. And then once you get the output, now you could tell it to expand on that or explain it. So like when I want to do let's say a course, and I'm going to go into Perplexity, and I'm going to say, hey, I want to do a course on bookkeeping for beginners. Give me an outline of that course. Okay, it'll give me the outline. And then I'll take the outline and I'll say, okay, give me more of a breakdown. And then I'll take that and I'll say, okay, write chapter 1 for me. And I'll do one chapter at a time. And then I'll take the finished product, the whole thing, and I'll run it through Claude. And I'll say, make this inspiring. Make it, make it inspiring, easy to read, understandable. And not only that, give me 15 questions and answers that I can give my students, and it'll do the whole thing for me. And that's my story. I'm sticking with it. Are there any questions, Marianne? You want to say something? So I know Marianne she's using my Jumpstart AI, and I think she got some immediate results from it. Can you share that, Marianne?
Yeah, I'm using the hero image. If you will notice on some of my LinkedIn and community posts, I'm using AI. I'm just typing the the image that I want, and then it will create. And then I'm using also AI on my content, so correcting my grammar, then summarize my thoughts, then structured and organize my content. So AI is very useful nowadays. So I hope again you can maximize the power of AI if you know how to
Yeah.
use it properly.
I mean, just simply like you just mentioned about the grammar. I mean, I'm a terrible speller. Uh, I'm taking my emails and I'm just and I'll say, hey, make this, you know, uh, not humorous, but make this friendly or make this better. You know, a lot of times I'll just write a whole bunch of stuff and then I'll just say, hey, make this, make this more organized and professional. And it'll do that. And you could do that with the free versions of ChatGPT and Perplexity. It's really good at that. I mean, those short little, hey, just check out this email. Can you make it better for me? So for all of you, if you have clients and you're not, that confident on your writing, use the AI for that. It's perfect for that. And then as you start using it, you can see the power of it. You could see the power of it. And another thing I would suggest is, we have this Jumpstart Facebook group, which is free. And every Saturday morning we do training. Twice a month, I'm going to be doing training on one specific thing. So I might do, uh, how to create a course using Perplexity. Or how about this? How to do a blog post. That's another thing. Uh, in LinkedIn, okay, you could do, and I'm pretty sure, yeah, I have a free LinkedIn account. You can do a newsletter, okay? I have a newsletter in LinkedIn, and every week I was doing an article on taxes. Well, I changed that up. Now I'm doing two articles a week on AI. And I'm going to start doing AI for accounting and AI for taxes. So people are going to be out there and they're going to say, oh, he's an expert in AI. That's the idea. Marianne's got over 40,000 followers. Okay. Marianne, I don't know if you knew I found out about the LinkedIn newsletter because one of my clients had it. In 2 months, I got over 2,300 subscribers. And I'm using AI I did 3 articles in the 20 minutes before this Zoom meeting. 3 articles on AI, and all I did was I went into Gemini and it said, give me 3 articles on AI. And they were all excellent. And then I put it in LinkedIn, and LinkedIn creates the graphic. It's crazy. And that's why if you're not utilizing this right now, you're missing the boat. You're really missing the boat. Because you want to get, especially on LinkedIn, it's so easy now to become an expert. You could even go into Perplexity or ChatGPT and say, hey, I wanna optimize, how do I optimize my LinkedIn profile? And it'll help you do that. You could tell it, hey, I want help, I need help with my resume. And you could go into like Gemini and actually, or Claude, and actually upload your resume and tell it, I want you to improve on this. So those are just some of the things that you could be using AI for. Do we have any questions? I want to thank everybody for number one, showing up, and number two, sticking with it. I hope that, I gave you at least something to think about. And that's my job.
Yeah, thank you so much, Joe. And if any one of you would have a questions, would love to hear from you. And I hope, please type one if you learned something, how AI can change your day-to-day life, your business. Again, adaptability is the most important. Move fast because you will be ahead 10 times on your competitors if you will apply AI immediately and use AI on your daily lives as a freelancer or a business owner. Yeah. And hopefully we'll have see you another week next week for another free training. We will post some link on the community. So if you're not in the Skype group, I will post the link. So you will receive the link immediately before 7 p.m. I'll just post if you would like to join us. And then free on our FB pages. Okay? Thank you so much, Joe. And thank you for spending your weekend with us. Picture.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, picture. Let's do it.
Picture.
Yeah.
Marianne, I did, somebody in Facebook posted something about the interesting facts about the Philippines. And I actually took it out and I put it in one of my programs, and I uploaded it to Facebook. And the funny thing, they say the Philippines is the selfie capital of the world.
Yes, it's true. Is it true? Guys, please type 0 if it is true.
I never used take pictures and when I went back to the US, I'm like, nobody's taking pictures. All right, picture time.
Picture. 1, 2, 3. Please open your camera, guys. Slide 2. Hi, Christine. Long time now si Christine is here. Nice to see you. And everyone is here. Newbies, hello. Hi, Vanessa Celeste. Hi, Jenny Rose. 1, 2, 3. Nice to see you, Tin. Thanks, everyone. And we're looking forward for more trainings, AI trainings. Me, I will teach you soon how I maximize LinkedIn and using AI. Yeah.
Nice to see you too, Coach.
Bye.
Thank you, everyone. Have a good night.